job was boots on ground in Charlottesville after the riots happened at the University of Virginia. And even though I was not a fan of Trump and Republicans in general, I saw the president, the then president, say they're good people on both sides, but not the neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and they should be disavowed totally. Like, I saw that boots on ground, but what did I see when I got back to the office? It's the whole good people on both sides cut. That fallacy that even Joe Biden put on his coming out campaign ad is those missing extra 3 seconds of very powerful context. And I just started to notice things like that over and over. And it was a really hard thing for me to stomach and swallow, that this great, venerable news network that I grew up loving is not quite what it seemed to be. And the more and more I dug and the deeper and deeper I pulled on that thread, the more and more I found, and I literally had my own Matrix moment. It's overplayed and cliche, but it truly is. You know, I had a choice to make. Do I want to take the red pill and really see how deep the rabbit hole goes? Or do I want to stick my head back in the sand and just do business as usual? Now, as we both know, you and I both are cut from the same cloth. We couldn't sit back idly and see our beloved, news networks themselves just go on business as usual. So I reached out to James O'Keefe when I saw him at CPAC in 2019. Got to talk to him, and after a few back and forths, he's gave me some cameras to wear each day, and within 6 to 7 months of recording, we had enough to go to air talking about Jeff Zucker himself.
They have esteem, they have gravitas, they have real patriotism, not politics. It sounds like politics.
Yeah, well, these guys all lie to you. If you're an intelligence operative in the United States government, they are all liars.
But don't you forgive him when you accuse everyone? Don't you give Clapper a green pass?
No, because here's why. He went on CNN right after Trump was elected and told Jake Tapper that he had no knowledge of any Russia collusion at all with the Trump administration. And then he goes on all of the cables for the next 4 years and says Trump's a Russian asset. And then, don't get me started on Natasha Bertrand. I did a deep dive. This is the Politico author. She is an intel agent. I have no evidence to back that up, but I'm suspicious.
Well, at least, unlike Clapper, you tell us.
Her schooling overseas. I think she might even be a dual citizen of Spain and the United States. But just check to see who her great-grandparents are. She starts off... Where's her deep dive? Where's the thing? She starts off Business Insider, and she's the one that publishes the Steele dossier, right? Mm-hmm. And then she goes to the Atlantic and does like 2 years of all Trump's Putin stooge. And then she goes to Politico, and she's the one that they dump the 51 signers onto about the laptop cover-up. And then she goes to CNN. So she's the woman that all the intel guys give the dirt to, and she runs with it. Now, she's either stupid and she just publishes what spies tell her, or she's in on it. Either way, I'm suspicious.
And as a CNN commentator, do you think the network had responsibility to maybe vet Mr. Clapper?
Well, I mean, I understand why you wouldn't vet Mr. Clapper, because he was the head of the DNI. I mean, he has been vetted by the government. Like, they made a judgment call that they thought he would be a good contributor, and so they had him on. And those of us, who've worked in communications, you know exactly how this letter came to be. The Biden campaign sent out a flare that said, we need cover. And these 51 guys said, we got you, no problem. And so they all signed up. Now, there are 51 of them. There are many, many more, hundreds and thousands of retired agents who didn't sign this letter, who are dismayed about what happened with this letter. And these guys basically damage the credibility of the entire intelligence community, and it will take a generation to build back that trust.
And do you think that Clapper feels that he could convince people at this point, Greg, that he didn't really say disinformation?
I think maybe he's floating this because he knows he's going to be before a bunch of Republicans. Right. But you're right, and you're right. I mean, for me, it's kind of depressing because when I grew up thinking spies were cool, like, movies were made, James Bond's a spy, right? And they were always concerned about the security and safety of America. And then you find out they're just deceptive bureaucrats with the same petty political allegiances. And it sucks because now you can't unsee that damage. To your point that they have done, it's like they've committed. It's like a government agency has committed an infidelity, and you just can't, like, I can't trust that person ever again. I think we need a government divorce. Maybe they need to, like, shut down the CIA for a little bit and start over again, because they lied to us. They made us feel like fools. They can't be trusted again. And it is depressing.
I don't trust them. And I feel, that my youth has been robbed.
It's like Comey and the FBI.
It is like Comey and the FBI, but the FBI.
Makes me feel bad. We're not there, but
Thank you for
we're
having me,
glad
Tucker.
that you are. What's your assessment of the town right now?
So what's going on the ground is a little bit different from what you might see in the media. The sentiment from the residents